Biden administration is reversing yet another Trump-era policy and again caving into the far left of the Democratic Party. So this time it's tightening environmental restrictions that critics say will only shrink your wallet even more. Republican Senator Mitt Romney writing a scathing op-ed in the Wall Street Journal. He said this: Biden's errors worsen inflation. He needs to ditch his woke advisors and make growth the overriding priority. Josh Holmes, former chief of staff to Senator Mitch McConnell and co-host of the Ruthless podcast. Welcome back to the show. So the administration did something kind of interesting, right? They said, we're going to allow for some oil and gas leases on federal lands. This is reversing something that they had done on the first day. But they don't want to credit from that in terms of making a good policy decision. They are now figuring out a way to cover themselves on the left by making sure that the left isn't mad about those things.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Dana. I mean, it goes to show that the priority of this administration from day one has not been about good policy or trying to rectify an economy that's slipping further and further away from them, but trying to placate the far left. And again, energy is a perfect example of that. On day one, you cancel the Keystone Pipeline, you limit oil and gas leases. Now we have a huge gas supply problem. We're a net importer of oil and gas, and they try to reverse some of that, but nope, now the left is upset, so got to take action to rectify that. It's just unbelievable.
No, the Romney piece is really interesting. I encourage readers to check it out, the Wall Street Journal. Here's the last paragraph in that piece. He says, a new set of priorities requires a new set of principles, writes Romney. President Biden needs to ditch his woke advisors and surround himself with people who want to get the economy working again. He's talking about the Fed, by the way, in that point. As for the upcoming midterm elections, remember Bill Clinton's 1992 mantra, it's the economy. The American people need the strong economic leadership that only a president can provide. How much can they influence that right now with 6-7 months to go?
Look, I don't think there's any indication that this administration or the Democrats in Congress are going to do anything than try to provide some political cover for what they're doing here. I mean, we're not talking about presiding over a bad economy. We're talking about basic financial literacy at this stage. Remember, I mean, we're at 8.5% inflation, and their answer is to flood the marketplace with more currency. They still want to pass BBB. You have this problem with gas prices. Their first instinct was to try to hand out gas cards. Again, flooding more currency into the economy. I mean, almost everything from the student loan. I mean, think about that for a second. They want to forgive student loans. Meanwhile, you've got an armada of ships hanging out in the Pacific and Atlantic. They can't be unloaded because we don't have the people to do it. Every single thing that they're doing to try to rectify the economy is the exact opposite of what you should do. And I like what Mitt Romney had to say there, but I'm just not confident that this administration is going to take any guidance from that.
And yet there is reporting that President Biden told former President Obama that he is running again in 2024. Let me read to you from The Hill. He said Biden wants to run, and he's clearly letting everyone know. I believe he thinks he's the only one who can beat Trump. I don't think he thinks there's anyone in the Democratic Party who can beat Trump, and that's the biggest factor. Said one of the two sources familiar with the conversations between Obama and Biden. I have a theory. Would you like to hear it? I think when you see anonymous sources like this on a story like this, it's because people in the Obama camp that heard this wanted to get it out there to make sure that it got shot down so that they could be on the record, at least, well, it's anonymous, but on the record with those reporters saying that they told them so.
The old trial balloon, right, Dana? You're press pro, you get that. I mean, that could very well be the case. I mean, they might be right in that there's not any Democrats that currently look like they could beat Donald Trump or any other Republican for that matter, but Joe Biden's not one of them either. I mean, in this state of the economy and his approval rating across this country, I mean, you look at some of these polls that have come out in swing states, states that Democrats absolutely have to have in a national election, and he's like 15 points underwater. I mean, he's brushing into the 30s. That is an absolutely devastating place to start from trying to win re-election, particularly when we've seen this president have some trouble on the stump as well.
Well, he's been to Iowa, he's been to New Hampshire. But, you know, before a midterm, you're not going to say, I'm going to throw in the towel. No. I mean, you want to make sure that your name's out there still.
Right.
Josh, thank you. We'll talk again very soon.
Great to see
Josh Holmes.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.